Okay, so I hope my voice is now audible. Is it audible? Yes, I think so. Yeah, it is. Okay. All right. Sorry, there was an issue with my mic connection, so my voice was not audible. So I'll just quickly go through whatever we have done. So today we are having a look at, we are going to have a look at some tips that are going to boost your band score, right? And what are we going to look at? We are going to look at section specific. So section wise, we are going to break up each section and have a look at it as to how to score better in each section. And what are those sections? Reading, listening, writing, and speaking. We will also have a look at a high band score response, and we will try to analyze. It is an essay, and we will have a look at that essay and see what has been done in that essay to get a higher score, right? And then we'll just go through a step-by-step plan that you can, use for yourself to get a better score. Okay, the first thing is let's talk about the importance of planning your entire exam, strategizing. How are you going to strategize? The exam is not really, it is pretty easy. However, it is not so easy that you don't need a strategy for it. And by strategy, what I mean is it right from the day you begin, even your practice work, you need to strategize your work. You need to strategize how are you going to prepare, what is going to be your study schedule, how much time are you going to devote to the practice, and all these things need to be taken into consideration. Then once you are prepared, when you are actually taking the exam, you also need to just strategize every section, right? Like, for example, if we talk about reading, so what are the questions which I would like to, I should handle first and then move on to the other ones. In case I get stuck, what do I do? All these things have to be thought about. It's not that you just go and start taking the exam. It's not going to be that simple. If you think that, okay, I'll see how it goes and then I'll handle it accordingly. No, the reason is why you need the strategy is that the time limit is too short, right? For each and every module, your time is too short. So the time, I mean, for every module, you're going to feel that the time is less, right? And within that already constrained timing, if I don't have a strategy, in case I get stuck with somewhere, then what am I going to do? Am I going to sit at that point of time and start thinking that what do I do now? No. You need to know what exactly will you do. Okay. So your preparation matters because, of course, it's a gateway to global opportunities, your total preparation. And the key success factors are, the biggest one is time management. Like I was just talking about, time is really very constrained. So we have to be very, very much careful about that. We have to be careful enough so that we don't waste even a single second. Okay. One way that you can do this is being familiar with the format of the test. This is really super important because if you don't know what the format is going to be like, you're going to be stuck over there. You're going to end up wasting a lot of time trying to read questions and trying to understand what are you supposed to do with those questions. Okay. And then practice and persistence. Practice and persistence plus practice plus persistence. Practice, practice, practice. Persistently practice. Okay. And you will see if you practice, if you keep on practicing with this thing in mind that you need to improve, with every practice, you analyze what was good about that and what needs to be improved. And then you work on that improvement. Trust me, you will start getting better and better with every practice. Okay. Let's move ahead and talk about reading. So what are some of the common challenges that one encounters for the reading test? Right now, reading is for the academic. I'm talking about the academic exam. So reading is a little difficult. The two reasons over here are the time problem. We don't have enough time. You just get about 60 minutes for it. And within those 60 minutes, you have to answer 40 questions. If you do the calculation, it comes to 1.5 minutes per question, which includes your reading of the complete passage, understanding it, reading the questions, finding the answers, and finally updating the answers wherever, be it in your on paper or on the screen, right? So 1.5 minutes per question is far too less, considering that the passage is going to be academic kind of stuff. So it's not going to be very easy to understand, right? You need time, and that is exactly what we don't have. Okay, so time management is really very important over here. There's going to be some vocabulary which is going to be difficult, which we may never have heard. With every reading, it does happen. There might be, some words which we may just not have heard ever. What do we do at that point of time? So we need to practice around that. What do I do? Okay, what do I do if I run across a word and I've never heard about that word? Worse would be if your answer revolves around that particular sentence, right? So we need to work on that, right? So the best thing I feel over here is read that sentence and try to understand the context of the sentence, right? So that we can do when we are when we are practicing on a passage. So that can be done practically at that point of time. But yes, understanding the context of the sentence is definitely going to help you to get an idea about what that word is about. Okay, and identifying the key information. Now this is one place where people make the biggest mistake. They just keep on reading and reading and reading without really understanding what that particular passage is about or what that particular paragraph is about. Now, there's one thumb rule over here for reading is that every paragraph has one main idea or the one main theme of every paragraph. That is one thing that you need to understand. What is that one thing that this paragraph is talking about? Every paragraph that you encounter. Okay, once you're able to understand that, your finding the answers will become really very, very easy, right? Okay. All right. So how do we go around all these challenges? Skim first and then focus for the answers. What is skim reading? Skim for just before diving into the details, right? What is skim reading? Skim reading is part of speed reading. Now, as I said, you don't have a lot of time. Hence, we definitely don't have enough time to read those passages. There are 3 passages, okay, which contain 40 questions. And each passage is around 700 to 800 words long, right? So we definitely don't have the time to read those passages word by word. Okay, so the best thing to do is skim read it. Skim read is speed reading. Okay, now again, there is a process involved in speed reading. It's not just that you pick up you open the screen or you pick up your question paper and start reading. No, we will have to practice through a certain strategy, right? So first you skim read it and understand the gist of it, and then look for more details in it, right? Learn synonyms. Now match paraphrased language in questions and passages. What do you mean by questions and passages? Now, whatever is written, whatever language or words are used in your paragraph, the questions may not have the same language. That is for sure. So your paragraph, your text, and your questions are going to be paraphrased, right? Which means that if you start looking for particular words in the paragraph to find the answer, no, you will not find it for sure. What do you need to do then? You need to understand the meaning of the question and then go into the paragraph looking for that particular meaning. Okay, that's the way to find your answer. And for that, you need to understand the synonyms. Okay, you have to know other words which describe the words given in your paragraph or questions or vice versa. Okay, so master specific question types. So like, headings, this is one question. True, false, not given is one question type. Matching is one question type. So instead of doing the complete passage, all the 40 questions in one go, it would be a good idea that at the beginning, you start practicing with, these smaller question types. You take one question type and you just practice it. And then you sharpen your skills on that particular question. Then you move on to the next one and then the next one, right? So that you slowly keep on growing better and better with each question type. That will help you to move faster. And once you have done all of them and you think you're comfortable with each one of them, then start doing your complete practices of 40 questions, right? Okay. And then practice timed reading. Again, time management is very important here. Once you have developed the skills of handling each and every question type, once you've done a few complete reading tests, then get into timed practice, right? Time yourself. Make sure that you complete 5 minutes before, at around like 55 minutes, so that you get 5 minutes for reading it, also reviewing your answers. Okay, let's move to listening. So let's look at some of the common challenges. Accents and the speed. So your listening test has 3 different types of accents, mainly 3 different types. Those are the American, the British, and the Australian accents. And the speed varies, right? So sometimes they are going to be okay-ish. Sometimes we find them to be really very fast. And the accent, of course, keeps on differing, right? So this is what turns out to be a challenge because we are not native speakers. We are not native English speakers. So we find it difficult many times. Okay. And because of this, what does that lead to? It leads to missed answers. That simply means you kind of just lose track of the conversation. The audio is going on in your ears, but fine, I missed out one thing and the track moved on to something else, but I'm still stuck at the same place. I keep thinking that, okay, this particular question will come or this particular answer is yet to come, but the track has moved on. And what happens? I've missed that answer. Not only that, when this happens, you will also miss maybe 2, 3 other answers as well, because the track is going to keep on moving. And if you are stuck in one place, by the time you realize that you're stuck at a wrong place, the track might have moved on, covering another 2, 3 sentences, right? So yes, this is a very, very common issue, and it can happen with anyone, right? You can overcome this only with practice. And with practice, you will understand how long to wait at a particular spot, right? That is important. Okay, how long before you actually understand that you may have missed out on an answer. So practice is the key over here. Okay, the third challenge over here is multitasking. So you have to multitask over here. You have to, you would be doing everything for your listening. Your eyes are going to be working, your ears are going to be working, your brain is going to be working because you're writing answers, you're listening for the answers. Everything is working at supersonic speed. And that is also, that actually takes a toll on your calmness. Okay, let's move on. So what are some tips? Preview the questions. Now with every time an audio begins, every time a new section comes up, you are going to get a slight break of around 20 to 30 seconds. What does that mean? So let's say, for example, here is my question 1 and 210. So what happens in between is, before the audio starts, you would get a 30-second break. It could be 20 seconds, it could be 30 seconds. Let's take it for 30 seconds for now. So you'll get a 30-second break, and a narrator would come and say that you now have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. Okay, we are taking 1 to 5. It could be 1 to 4. It could be 1 to 6 as well. Let's take it for 1 to 5. So here, this 30 seconds, utilize these 30 seconds to read up these questions, whatever questions are there. Okay, understand what exactly do you need to find out. What are the questions? Do you need a name? Okay. If it's a name, what kind of a name? Is it the name of a person or a place? Okay. If it's the name of a person, what kind of a name? Is it the first name or the last name? Numbers. Do I need to look for numbers or listen for a number? What kind of a number? Fine. Is it a phone number? Is it a house number? It is a street number? Whatever. right? So you'll get prepared. So utilize these 30 seconds to read up those questions. Then once the 30 seconds are over, the audio will start and it will play until the 5 questions. After that, you'll again get 30 seconds to read questions 6 to 10. So this is what it means by understand the context before listening. So before the audio starts, you've already gone through those questions, so you know what to expect, okay, and what to focus on, right? Okay, focus on keywords. Listen for numbers, dates, and specific names, right? Okay, stay calm. Now, what happens if you miss an answer? Like we were talking about, there are chances we might miss an answer. So what happens, sometimes we just start panicking that, oh my God, I missed out 3 answers. Oh my God, what do I do? It's okay, fine, move on. Fine, just move on and make the best of whatever you have left. Okay, and then practice with various different accents. Expose yourself to British, Australian, American, and any other accent, right? So do a lot of practice. Now, I can tell you one thing over here for listening. Listening is one module where you can score 40 out of 40 if you have practiced enough. This is one module where you can really score high. But yes, you need to practice. Okay? All right. Let's talk about writing task 1. Now, writing task 1 for the academic exam is going to be report writing. So you will be presented, you will be given a graph. The graph can be anything. It can be a line graph, a bar chart. It can be a pie chart. It can be a table. Fine. It can also be a process and a map. Just about anything, just one. You don't really have a choice. So there is no choice. Whatever question you are given, you have to answer that. So what are the common challenges? Understanding the task. Many times we don't understand the task. Now, what is the challenge? Biggest challenge, which I feel, is that again, you get 60 minutes for your complete writing module. Now, and you have to do 2 tasks in this. So you break that 60 minutes for task 1 and this task 2, which is the essay writing. We'll get to that in a little while. So for task 1, ideally you should, give 20 minutes, and for task 2, you should spend 40 minutes. So, I mean, again, time is going to be less. So if we talk about writing task 1, you've just got about 20 minutes. And within that, you have to understand there are various kinds of trends and you have to report everything. And I mean, you've got to write it in the correct format as well, right? So understanding becomes a little challenging over here. The usage of appropriate language and grammar. And of course, again, time management because of the 20 minutes. So let's see how can we overcome that. Understand the format. Okay, learn to interpret graphs, charts, and processes and maps as well. Right. So the various types of charts, there would be combination charts. It's always going to be a combination of at least 2 charts. You're never going to get one single graph. So it's going to be either like, just about anything, a mix and match of anything. It can be a line graph and a pie chart. It can be a pie chart and a table, just about anything. It's just numerical data, right? However, it can be created, the depiction can be created in any format, right? So learn to understand them, do a lot of practice on this, okay? Focus on key data. Avoid describing everything. You don't have to talk about everything. You just have to summarize the main trends, right? You don't have to write about each and every point, okay? So what you need to do is include points of comparison and key features. Fine. So what does that mean? That simply means that, let's say, if you have a line graph like this, I'm just drawing a very rough figure of a line graph, and the line graph is going like this, and then it goes down like this and keeps moving. You've got to describe the start and the end for sure. Okay. You don't have to, let's say this is like, January, February, March, April, May, June, and so on. You don't have to talk about each and every month like this. No, you don't have to say that in January it was this much, and in Feb it was this much, and in March it was this much. No, you must start with the start point. So you can say in January it started at this much, and then it kept on rising. And here is one major thing that happened, it dropped. So here you must talk about this, whatever this is correlating to over here, right? And then here it dropped to this much. So it kept dropping for the next 2 months or 1 month, whatever, it kept dropping and reached this thing before it rose back in this particular month and then kept on growing, right? So these are the main trends. What are you going to mark down? Your start, your end, and the spots where the something specifically different happened. That's it. Okay, so make sure that you don't get into each and every detail. Okay, use formal language and correct grammar. So learn to use varied sentences, different types of sentence structures and formal phrases. Okay, so now for task one, there's one very good thing, that you can actually, the vocabulary is not really very huge. You just have to report and you have to make comparisons. So just make sure that you're reporting and you're making comparison language is really very strong, right? So you can use phrases like a sharp increase was seen, or there was a sharp increase in line 1, and after this thing, it dropped. After that, it remained steady, or things like that. There are loads and loads of such things. And by doing this, using this varied kind of vocabulary or phrases, you just tell your examiner that, yes, in a very simple language, I can report it in a very nice way, right? Okay, avoid contractions and casual phrases. Not just avoid, I would say it's a big no. It's a big no. Okay, do not use these. All right, let's come to writing task 2. So some of the common challenges are, again, understanding the question. Now, this question is going to be a little lengthy kind of a thing. Sometimes it gets a little tricky. So spend time over there. Structuring the essay. Again, we don't really, your examiner wants you, or rather the IELTS people want you to, just give me a moment. Okay, so your examiners want you to write the essay in a certain structure. And that is definitely not what we have learned in school, for sure. In school, whatever we learned was like the very basic of essay writing. Like we knew that, okay, we have to write 4 paragraphs. And, paragraph number 1 is the introduction, and then body para, and this and this. What went into each para, the content of every paragraph, nobody bothered, right? And it was not required at that time. But here, it's going to be very, very important. Each paragraph, we still are going to write 4 paragraphs, sometimes 5. But what goes into each paragraph is very important. It's not that, okay, I have to write 4 paragraphs and I'll write just about anything, wherever I wish. No, it's not like that, right? Every paragraph has a certain thing to be discussed. And that is something we need to be very careful about. Okay, using complex languages, this turns out to be a challenge. And again, time management, right? Let's move on. So how do we do this? So identify the essay type. The first thing you need to do is, there are 5 different types of questions, right? You need to identify what exactly is this question like. So it can be an opinion question, it can be a discussion question, a problem solution question, and there are a couple of others as well. Understand the question, identify what kind of a question it is, and then accordingly plan your essay. Use a very clear structure. What is a clear structure? We were just talking about those paragraphs, right? So what are those paragraphs? The first thing is an introduction. Second is going to be body paragraphs. There are going to be 2. So 2 body paragraphs over here. What do those body paragraphs have? A topic sentence, extended explanation with examples, right? So that is exactly what you need to write in your body paragraphs. And then there's going to be a conclusion. That's the basic structure. That's the basic structure. Now, what goes into that basic structure? Again, is like here they have written into your body paragraphs. You have to write a topic sentence. You have to explain that topic sentence, and you must give an example. Okay. Okay, let's look at this one. So practice paraphrasing. So paraphrasing is something which is really very important. It is part of your introduction, right? Use linking words. Linking words help you to connect your ideas together, to transition from one idea to another, right? And they make your writing really very, very smooth. They give a very smooth flow, thus enhancing your cohesion. And varied sentence types, different types of sentences like the simple sentence, the compound sentence, and the complex sentence. Okay, allocate time wisely. 5 minutes of planning, 30 minutes of writing, and 5 minutes for reviewing. So out of the 40 minutes, right? Remember, I told you in the previous slide, you get 1 hour, out of which you allocate 20 minutes for your writing task 1 and 40 minutes for your writing task 2. So out of these 40 minutes, please spend 5 plus 5 minutes over here, 5 minutes for your preparing, and then 30 minutes for writing, and then 5 minutes for reviewing your work, for reading up your work. When you review your work, when you have enough time to actually read what you have written, trust me, you'll be able to do away with at least 50% of your errors that you might have made, while writing in that rush. Most of your mistakes, you'll be able to rectify. Let's move on. Okay, so here's a high band response. Okay, let's have a look at it. So the question says, here's the question. In some countries, celebrities complain about the way the media publicizes their private lives. Full stop. This is my topic. Some people say that they should accept it as part of their frame. No, up to here is the topic. My bad. Okay. So up to here is the topic. Fine. So some countries believe that, the lives of celebrities are very, very should be public, and it is part of their life and they should accept it. Do you agree? This is my question. Do you agree or disagree with it? Now, it is an opinion question. They're asking you for an opinion. So the first paragraph is my introduction. What are we writing in the introduction? You just paraphrase your topic sentence. So in numerous nations, celebrities express grievances about the media's invasion of their personal lives, while some argue that they should consider this intrusion as an inherent aspect of their fame. Up to here is my paraphrasing of the topic statement. Now here, I give my opinion. I firmly disagree with this viewpoint. Okay, let's put it here. And here I'm giving a reason as to why. So celebrities, like anyone else, deserve their privacy and the media should respect their boundaries. So what have I done? I have done 3 things over here. I have paraphrased the topic sentence. I have given my opinion. I have taken a side. And I'm saying that, no, I disagree that celebrities should make their life public or allow their life to be made public. And third thing I'm giving over here, I'm giving my reason. And that's my introduction. Then let's move on to this is the body paragraph 1. Now, whatever I said over here, I said this thing, that celebrities deserve their privacy and media should respect their boundaries. So here I'm giving my reasons. So to begin with, here is my linking phrase, right? So this phrase connects this paragraph to the introduction. So to begin with, it is important to remember that celebrities are human beings too. Very, very simple, short and simple question, to the point, and it directly relates to what I said over here, right? This is the topic sentence. Next, let's move on. Their fame does not mean they forfeit their basic human rights, including the right to privacy. Here we are. So let's say this is the topic sentence. Then comes from here, we explain it further, or I'm expanding my idea, right? Up to here. And then here is my example. So for instance, the incessant scrutiny by the media, which often includes invasive paparazzi photographs and intrusive interviews, can be emotionally distressing and detrimental to their mental well-being. No one should have to endure such a relentless invasion of their personal space simply because they are famous, right? So here I have given my first point as to why do I disagree with whatever is given in the topic. Then I come to the next paragraph, which is body paragraph 2. Again, I start with a connecting word, a linking word. Furthermore, respecting the privacy of celebrities encourages a culture of respect for personal boundaries. I'm giving my second reason as to why am I disagreeing with the topic. And here I start with the example. For example, when media outlets prioritize responsible journalism over sensationalism, it sets a valuable example for the public. To illustrate this further, consider the case of numerous celebrities who have been hounded by the media to the point of emotional breakdowns and even tragic consequences. For instance, the tragic examples of Princess Diana and Britney Spears highlight the harmful consequences of relentless media intrusion into their private lives. And then we conclude it. We start with in conclusion. By saying this, I'm informing the examiner that, okay, I'm done with writing the essay and I'm now wrapping it up. Okay, so then we write, in conclusion, celebrities should not be expected to accept the media's invasion of their private lives as an unavoidable consequence of their fame. They are entitled to their privacy and society should respect their boundaries. Encouraging responsible journalism and empathetic behavior towards celebrities can contribute to a more compassionate and respectful society overall. So here with this, we have a complete essay. This should be somewhere around 270 to 280 words. Ideally, I haven't counted, but yes, that is what it would come to. And if you practice enough, you can do this really very well. And within those 40 minutes, 30 minutes rather, right? Okay. So we move on to the last part. And this is about speaking. What are the common challenges? Lack of fluency and coherence. Okay, coherence is being able to, being able to connect your speech in a way that it turns into a very smooth flow. Okay, and it makes it easy for the listener to understand what you're saying. Fine. Better coherence can be achieved through the usage of linking words and linking phrases. Because they give a very nice they help you to transit, to create a transition between one point to another. Fluency, again, is being able to speak without really fumbling too much or without pausing too much, without doing a lot of, I went to the market and, okay, so this kind of speaking is going to harm your fluency. Limited vocabulary. This is another challenge. We don't really speak a lot of English, being within our regional circles. Not all of us are into the habit of speaking English too much, right? So that actually creates a limitation on our vocabulary that we know. And this can be one of the challenges. Pronunciation issues. Again, this I would say pronunciation issues is because of the regional the regional touch on the language, right? So many people from let's talk about India only. So many people from different parts of the country have different ways of pronouncing the same word, right? So if that is not the correct way to pronounce that word, then it may be you will get a penalty on this one. Grammatical errors, yes, loads of grammatical errors. That is going to be a problem. And nervousness, right? We just start getting very nervous when we are talking. Let's see how to counter these. Okay, so practice speaking on various topics to improve flow and coherence. This is something that will really help you a lot. And one way that you can do this is by recording yourself. You don't need a partner. You don't need anyone. Your phone is going to be your best partner over here, right? Speak at length, pick up any topic, just about any topic randomly, and start speaking on it, and then listen to it. You yourself will be able to identify your own weaknesses and strengths, right? It will also help you to become more, get more into the flow of things. So use linking words like however, in addition, for instance. You can start with like one at a time, right? So you can say, okay, now today I'm going to use the word however. Okay, the next day you can start with in addition, and slowly you will see that, automatically your speaking starts picking up all these words. Record yourself. Okay, we've already spoken about this. Avoid one-word answers. Do not give one-word answers. Give reasons and explain. Your answer should always be, answer plus explain that answer, right? And what can you speak about explaining? You answer, and then maybe you can give a reason for it. You can give a result for it. You can give, how it happened, why it happened, why, of course, the reason is there, right? So expand your vocabulary with synonyms and idiomatic expressions. Focus on clarity. Just be clear. Try to be as clear as possible. Practice forming complex sentences. Now, this is one thing, this is part of grammar, and it is highly looked upon both in speaking as well as in writing. So practice creating these sentences. It will come to you with practice. Just like I said over here, practice the usage of however, in addition. They themselves will become complex sentences. Okay, then stay calm, take deep breaths, and think of your test as a conversation. It actually is going to be a conversation. It's not a kind of a test. Okay, so what do we do to stay ahead of it? Familiarize yourself with the test format and question types. This is really very, very important. What is my test going to be like? How is it going to come? Fine. Focus on weak areas. Identify, the first thing is identify your own weak areas and work on them with timed practice. Take full-length practice tests and refine strategies. Full-length practice tests is what? The complete test, listening, reading, writing, all in one go without really getting up at all. Only then will you actually be able to figure out that, am I ready for it or not? And then review mistakes. This is really very important. Be it reading, be it listening, be it writing. Review your mistakes. Why did I make this mistake? What made me choose a wrong answer? If I chose a wrong answer for listening or reading, there has to be a reason for it, right? So there was something which made me choose a wrong answer. Maybe I did not understand it. What was it that I did not understand? Right? So once you start, this really helps a lot, this particular point. And if you start doing this with your reading as well as your listening, trust me, you do it every day, you will see yourself improving by just maybe 1 to 2 questions every day. So like, let's say for today, if you just had 20 correct answers and you start practicing it, you review all your answers and you review all your wrong answers. And the next time you've learned a lesson from your mistakes, you will see the next day or maybe the day after next, you will get 1 to 2 correct answers. So your answers from 20 will go up to maybe 21 or 22, which is really good enough, which is really good. Because slowly you'll keep on making this progress of around 1 to 2 questions per day, which is good enough. You will be able to do it really well by the end of maybe 15 to 20 days. Okay. Okay. So what are the key takeaways for this? Consistency is the key. Daily practice. Yes, it has to be daily practice. Whatever time you can afford, 30 minutes, 1 hour. 1 hour will be really very good. But at least 30 minutes. It's not really enough, but at least. Okay. Understand the marking criteria. This is really very important. Tailor your response to meet expectations. What is the marking criteria? There are 4 parameters. Okay, what are those parameters? Where do I stand on those parameters? How do I improve on my weaknesses related to those parameters? Okay, and of course, stay positive, because being confident is something, half the battle won. So if you have any questions, you can ask them now. Okay, so we do have various programs where we have the classes. So we have comprehensive training, we have one-on-one, your one-on-one trainings as well, right? So if you would like, the number would be shared with you in the chat box, or you can just reach out to us. Okay, no questions? Fine. So that's about it for today.